Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Sarah. We are on our second show for 2023,
Hey, everybody, I'm Tara.
and we are so excited today. She says it much prettier, Natalia. Is that how you say it, Natalia?
Absolutely.
She is from
Hmm.
Ukraine, and how I met or been introduced to you is Steve your cousin? Is it a cousin now? Steve used to go to my gym, and he has been very intricate in helping Ukraine. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yep.
Yes, and I thought it would be so awesome to have you come on and give everybody an update of the status of Ukraine because you're still living there and what is going on. So just tell us everything that you think we need to know.
Okay, but that's the long, long story. So I can talk the whole day and night about that because so many different things are going on around us. It's the full invasion has started more than a year ago. Before that, we had war on our eastern part for 8 years already. But people get used to the war, and it was kind of a little bit far from us. So, I mean, Russia had occupied only some parts of our country, and we even got used to the idea that, I don't know, like to the idea that we have lost some territories. But then on the 24th of February, 2022, that was like one one of the worst nights in my life and in the life of millions of people in Ukraine. We have about 40 millions of people, of citizens, and currently at this moment at least 7 million have left Ukraine. So can you imagine, like 1/5 or 1/6 of the country have left Ukraine? And what is the worst part is that at least 500,000 of kids are not in Ukraine, but some people say up to 2.5 million of Ukrainian kids are not in the country right now. So that's kind of a huge strategy besides all the rest, but that we are losing people, young people, who should build the country. So that is one of very, very big problems. And I just recently participated in one forum, and they told that hundreds of schools have been totally ruined in Ukraine. So like you have to rebuild them from scratch. And then about 1,500 of schools were damaged to bigger or lower extent. So besides the war itself, besides that people are fighting and dying every day, we are also losing some important things like education, like cultural things, like lots of museums have been destroyed, lots of cinemas, theaters, art galleries, libraries, and all that.
So I have a question. You said they all left. Will they come back if the war stops? Because you said you get used to war. How do you get used to war? That's like very impactful. I don't can't imagine just getting used to war. How do you get used to it?
I mean, we got used to the war which had started in 2014. Because it was on the eastern part and in Crimea, and that's it. Now, during this year, we also are getting used a little bit to the war. I mean, at least we know what to do. When there is air siren, like air raid
Yeah.
siren, at least we know where to go, how long time you have to hide. We have settled up the bomb shelters and all that stuff. So we it's not that we got used, but now we know how to deal with that. But I remember myself a year ago when I didn't know if I have just 10 seconds to run to the bomb shelter or I have more time. Now I know that usually when we have the siren and we have to go to the bomb shelter, usually we have at least 15 to 30 minutes till the rockets come exactly Kyiv, because I live in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine. So like each region of Ukraine, we know how long does it take for the rockets to get to their territories. So me personally, I have between 15 to 30 minutes. So usually when we hear that and when we have to go to the bomb shelter, I still my kids pack, they grab whatever they need, like laptops and mobile phones, etc. And I make some tea, sandwich, and then I also go to the bomb shelter, because sometimes we can stay there for like usually 2-3 hours. That's how long it takes.
You
So,
mentioned your
oh, go ahead.
kids. I was going to say, you mentioned your kids. Is this your family or is this?
Uh, Yeah, exactly. Sophia is the elder one in the jacket, and Maria, the younger one. They are 15 and 11 years old. Yeah, and my husband beside. And this picture was taken this September. I mean, September 2022. We just came back from Steve's house from Florida because we stayed in Florida for 6 months,
Okay.
uh, from from March till the end of August. So, like a week before this picture was taken, we just came back home to Ukraine. And actually, that was so, yeah, we were carrying those bags. But actually, this picture was taken in June because I made three trips from the US to Ukraine, but my kids were staying with my cousin and Steve and that family in Florida. So yeah, and that was very scary to come back to Ukraine in the end of August, because that is 24th of August is Ukrainian Independence Day, and we were afraid that Russians might attack us more like stronger than they usually do that, but everything was kind of okay on the 24th of August. And then we were also very scared if they gonna bomb us on the 1st of September, because that is the beginning of the school year, and so many families didn't take their kids to school on the 1st of September, because we all were scared that what if they start just attacking schools, and that's like hundreds and thousands of deaths. So like my kids, we did go to the school because our school have a very good bomb shelter. So I mean, I cannot say that we were not worried. We are worried all the time, but we tried not to be as worried as some other parents could be.
Now I have like so many questions. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, well, one, why did you guys choose, like you and your husband, not to leave and go live into another country? And what do you and your husband do there? Are you guys still at your job?
Yeah. My husband, he works for the government,
Okay.
and all men of the country, they are not allowed to leave the country because of the war. So they have to stay inside. I mean, if you have three or more kids under 18 years old, you can cross the border. If you volunteer, you can cross the border for a short period of time, like a week or 10 days. uh, if you go on some diplomatic meeting or some like not business trip, but like business trip connected with war and all that governmental trips, you can go, but just for a very short time. That is why he couldn't leave Ukraine. So he's staying here, and he was staying here. So only me and my kids were in the USA. That's why I came back, because my life, my family, my house is here, everything is here. Oh yeah, that was the second day. I mean, the next day after the war started. That was the 25th of February. 7 a.m. we had from Kyiv to Ternopil, to western part of Ukraine, closer to Polish border, to escape. So he just, my husband Andriy, he just took us to the border, and we left. Just three of us. I mean, my cousin plus my cousin with her kids, but without father, without
What was
Andriy.
that scene like? Was it just bumper to bumper traffic?
We were lucky enough not to leave Kyiv on the first morning, because that all started on the 5 a.m. So all people tried to leave the city at one time. That was a huge traffic. Our neighbors who decided to go at 5 a.m. when the first bombs came to Kyiv, attacked Kyiv. The way, which usually takes them about 20-25 minutes, like to get from the house to one spot, usually takes 25 minutes, but that day it took them 7 hours.
Oh my
So
goodness.
like
Was
that was
Was the border overwhelmed? Like the border patrol too overwhelmed?
the borders as well, but I mean, even to leave the Kyiv, to leave the capital of the city, which is in the middle of the country, you couldn't. I mean, that took you like 20 times longer than it usually would take. And then the borders, yes, that was another nightmare. The borders were overwhelmed. They didn't expect so many people. I mean, because we didn't expect the war. I mean, we had some signs that it might be, but that is craziness. So actually, no one, not no one, but we didn't believe that it will happen indeed. And and we didn't believe it's going to be the full invasion. We just thought they're going to keep pushing on the eastern border. So yeah, the borders between, we have borders with 7 different countries, including Russia and Belarus. So actually we have 5 more borders with 5 other countries which we could cross, but still it took us 20-30 hours for different families in different time, but usually it was taken like the first week it would take 20-30 hours for people to cross the border by car.
So when you say like your family is back there still, like besides, how many times do you run to a bunker? That just like knowing that you have to run to a shelter, like, is that like a daily part of your daily life, or is life gone back to normal? Where is the war taking place now? It's like, I just can't imagine that.
Me too. I'm telling you what is going on, but I don't believe that is the truth. I mean, for me, it seems like I'm just making some stories, it cannot be like that. Okay, look, usually, let's say last month, we had about 35 times that kids had to go to the bunker or bomb shelter. 35 times a month. Why I know that is because my friend who has a school where my kids go, she just posted that information on Facebook. So that's why I know it was 35 times in Kyiv.
Oh my gosh, Tara, your anxiety would be like up here. Tara has a lot of anxiety. I said, I can't even imagine. I don't have that bad of anxiety. I would be like freaking out. So does it get very close to you guys, or is it a precaution thing?
Like usually a real attack, we had like with the missiles into Kyiv, but the eastern part they suffer much more. But we have real attacks from 2 to 5 times a month, like real attacks.
Wow.
But all the rest is just, they just take the airplanes from Belarusian border to Russia, and they just, bring the airplanes from one country to another, from one to another, just like this. They're just playing like kids with the toys. But we have to be aware that there is danger. So we have the siren, and then I'm just checking my notifications. So if I read that the rockets are on the way, the missiles, then I go to the bomb shelter. If that's only like, okay, they are playing again, I don't go, but all the school kids, they have to go. Or if you have movie, if you are in the movie theater watching the film and there is siren air raid, they stop the movie and you come next time. Or if you are in the, oh yeah, the broken bridges we just discovered. Yeah, I made a tiny trip with my friends to, actually American friends, Steve's friends, around Kyiv and other regions, to go and take pictures and film these broken houses, schools, bridges, etc. We will have a lot of work to rebuild here.
Natalia, did you guys, I mean, because you guys have had war a lot. So are these old bomb shelters or are they new? I mean, we don't have bomb shelters. So that's why I was
No,
thinking.
and I think I interpreted this photo as something with a bomb shelter, so I apologize for putting it up out of context.
No,
But
no, 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 it was not bomb shelter. Okay, look, it depends. It depends. Like, we were not prepared for this war, so we didn't have like good bomb shelters. Sometimes we have some, like, we do have some bomb shelters only because after the Second World War, some buildings were built with the underground bomb shelters. But we don't have a lot of those. Like, I would say maximum 5% of the buildings have good bomb shelter. All the rest, what do we use as a bomb shelter? Any underground parkings, any underground gyms, whatever, which doesn't have any windows and is pretty deep underground, or the metro stations. So all metro stations work as like now they work 24 hours a day. They never close because you can come to the bomb shelter, to the metro bomb shelter anytime. But that's in Kyiv, not in the tiny cities or villages. Like in the villages, people can just go to their like wineries and that's it. But still, that's pretty okay. The deeper you are, the safer you are. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something super good. But it's still dangerous. I mean, we are under the danger like
Bomb
every day,
shelters
every
here,
moment.
so I'm just like, I don't even know where we would go. We don't have bomb shelters.
well, and your outlook, and you say it with a smile. I mean, your spirit is still there. How do you keep your spirit?
Oh my, saying the truth, I'm crying every day because like it's not fair
No.
what me, my family, other people, etc. have to go through. But sometimes I'm trying not to cry during the interview. Probably it's going to be the first interview that I haven't started crying, but we have some more time ahead, right?
Well, when people go to like Poland and the other countries, will they eventually have to return home if it's safe? Will that country make them go home, or do they have to, or how does that work?
Different countries have different programs and rules, but most like the majority of the countries gave us Ukrainians permission to stay in the country for 2, 3, or 5 years. It depends, but probably 2 years is the shortest period that some countries are letting us to stay
But
in
where
the
did
country.
they go when they had so many people come? Like, where do they go? I mean, did they get new jobs, housing? How did that work out? I mean, like when they crossed the border, where did everybody go?
Uh, Many people, I don't know like in percentage, so I don't know how many, but a lot of my friends, uh, they work online. So even if they live in the US or in Poland or in Italy, they still keep working for Ukraine in Ukrainian companies. For example, you asked me about my job. Yes, I have a business. Before the full invasion happened, I had 16 schools, which are like ESL schools, like English learning centers. And I had 4,000 of kids each semester coming to my schools. Yeah, that is like pretty big school, and we work only with school children, so 6 to 16 years old. All 16 schools were offline. We have closed 10 out of 16. So right now, or 11. So right now I have only 5 offline schools. They are on the western part of Ukraine or in Kyiv, 2 in Kyiv and 3 in Lviv, close to the Poland border. And I have about 160 employees. So yeah, that's a lot. So maybe just 20 of those are still staying abroad, and all the rest came back. But even those who are staying abroad, they still keep working for my school. So many people keep working for Ukrainian companies. Some, of course, have to go and do some cleaning, washing, whatever, because they don't speak languages. Because, Europe, each country, different language. Italian, German, etc., French. So people who don't speak languages, they cannot work in those countries. So whether they do some physical jobs or they keep working for their previous companies. Like if you work in IT or any like tutoring or international companies. So usually if somebody works for international company, they moved to any of the countries where that company also works. So
Okay.
they stick to those teams. So it depends. So many people, for example, my friends who work in education, they keep doing different researches outside of the Ukraine and then come here like once a month to do something offline and then go back again to their kids. So right now we are in that condition that families are so separate because kids, let's say, are staying in Great Britain because they go to school there.
Yeah.
Husband is staying in Ukraine because he cannot leave Ukraine or he is fighting right now on the front line. And mother is going back and forward to be here and there and everywhere.
Now, is
And
everybody, if the men have to stay back, does that mean they have to fight? Do you guys have a draft? Do they have to fight in the military?
Uh, Majority, yes, majority have to fight. I mean, they are like waiting for their call to join the army. But of course, there are politicians or students of the universities, like college students, and some like electricians. So, I mean, some companies can like cover some of their workers not to go like that's officially not like
Like a
just
waiver, like they
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, so like to put them on the last line of the line. But yes, it might be like actually this October, I mean the previous October, they even were going to limit mm, to call women to the army.
Ooh.
Like 20 different professions, like if you're a doctor or like many different jobs to call to the army as well, but they didn't, and we don't know. But it
So,
might happen that I will be called to the army.
ugh. So it's been a year, and moving forward, where do you see? I know people have, where do they need to like donate still? I know Steve's been a big advocate of that. Where do you see moving forward now? What do you think is going to happen?
I am 100% sure we're gonna win in this war, and me as an optimist believes it's gonna happen this year. Because okay, it's hard to explain. Okay, so I hope it's gonna be this year. Uh, you like I would say that we have a few very important fields to donate. That is of course army, because they are defending us, and if they don't have good clothing, if they don't have enough food, if they don't have good weapons, they cannot fight, and we are losing young people. 27 of my friends have already died, like people who I
Oh, my
knew,
yeah.
and they all are like 20 to 35 years old, young boys. or girls as well, because they work as medical, like nurses,
Nurses or
etc. Yeah, tactical nurses. So number one is army, but I know many people don't like to donate for the war because everybody wants to be peaceful, etc., etc. But so next for me, next important for me is education, of course, because right now only 28% of kids in the whole Ukraine go to school offline. All the rest are online. But you remember we just had COVID recently, then we had the full invasion. So actually that is the third year since our kids are online. That is nightmare. That's why we have in Ukraine we have such projects as digital learning centers, which means if the school is destroyed, people find some places which are not destroyed and try to organize there something like co-working but for educational purposes. So they repair that building. That can be like one big room. Repair the building, buy the furniture, buy all supplies for education, buy laptops, all that stuff, so kids can come there and attend online classes and see us other kids at least, and to see
Yeah.
some tutors over there. So army or educational projects, that is.
What is if somebody, I know somebody's going to be watching this and saying, what can we do to have a small impact?
You can share the information, of course, and I'm very thankful
Oh no.
I know I think it cut out just
people are. Yeah, because I know we all are a little bit over like bored with this war, and like it's not a top topic anymore, but we have to work on that. We have to talk about that as long as needed till we win the game. So thank you for sharing information. That is number one. If you want to donate, you can go to
Oh no.
there's
well,
website.
Wait,
You're losing
Natalie,
me.
You said it donate to where, and we'll get all this in print too. But where were you telling them? It cut out.
Uh, People help people across the borders. I will send you the link. That is a
Okay.
charity organization that Steve and my cousin Vita, his wife,
Okay.
have started this summer. And we are trying to support projects like
Okay.
educational and military projects all together.
I do know that Steve has been over there quite a few times helping. He's done a lot of volunteering.
Absolutely. Steve and Vita, they do help a lot, and their friends also help. And I recently had two Americans, Steve's friends, here. So one of them went to the front line actually to interview the soldiers to see how everything is going on. And another one, Shannon, he was staying with me for over a week, and we were discovering the schools, the buildings, the families who need help. So actually we have about 20 projects in our portfolio, let's say.
That's good.
um,
No, this has been so good because I think, like you said, that it might have been forgotten just because it wasn't on the front
mhm.
page of the news, and people don't realize it's been over a year. And the fact that what is it, 35 times in a month can run to a bomb shelter. I don't
yeah,
think other people appreciate how lucky they have it.
absolutely. Sometimes, sometimes we are so I mean, people, we are so lazy even to go shopping every day, right? And
Yeah.
here it's not even shopping. It's not like, it's just like you have to just whatever you do, you are taking a bus or having shower, or your baby is crying, some, like many women born their children in the bomb shelters during the first months of the war. um,
I mean, just being
so
a mom is so different, and
absolutely.
conversations you're having with your daughters and managing emotions, yours and theirs and your whole family, and
You know, when the war started, so many women, I mean, mothers with their children moved somewhere. And usually in different countries, people give them one bedroom for the whole like family. So, for example, me and my two kids were staying in one bedroom in Vita's house because that's what they had for us. And I appreciate that. But can you imagine living for 6 months with two of your children, like day after day, and you don't know when it's going to be over?
Yes. I don't think everybody puts into perspective, like Tara brought up, the emotional stress and the anxiety that, you send your kids to school. That's a separation time. Like, you hope they get to the bomb shelter. That's the kind of stuff that would go through your mind constantly. That's just,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
So,
and only 28% of families can send their kids to school, and other 72% are online schooling. So parents are staying with their kids 24/7 because of this war.
You're trying to decide what's best for you, and what's going to be good today could be different tomorrow. It could be different in a month.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now we have very short period of planning, just like maximum a week. So I don't know, maybe in 2 weeks I'll have to leave my country and fly somewhere again, maybe. So we don't know. We
you
don't make long plans.
you don't plan much farther than a couple days anymore.
Like up to week, 1 week probably is maximum. Of course, we're trying to plan with my business, but still, like we have to change our plans so quickly.
Well, I
Yeah.
hope that we can have you back on the show and telling us that the war is over and that, there's progress in your economy. You're not worrying about bomb shelters. I'm just trying to process a day like that. I just can't even imagine.
I know. And Amy, I wanted to put her comment up here. What a heartfelt discussion. Thank you for sharing your story. I know you said that you were battling your own tears during just sharing this story. And I can't imagine what today was like as you led up to thinking about sharing this story. But I think I speak for Sarah when I say I'm honored that you took the time to
And what
share.
time is it there? What time is it?
Actually, okay, actually it's midnight
Oh,
already.
see?
Yeah, I just mixed everything up and I forgot that it's not -7 but +7 hours,
Oh.
but never.
She was
But that's
texting me
fun.
verifying the times, and you thought it was 10 p.m., but it's much later, isn't it?
Oh,
We appreciate this so much.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate having this time with you, sharing, even if even two of you watched this and got some
No,
updated
we do. We have
information.
people that watch it. So,
That
if
is
you
a
want,
lot already.
yeah, we share it with everybody. And as soon as it gets up, you can share your story as well. But like I said, I hope we will get to touch base with you this year on some good news.
yes.
I hope. Actually, this summer I'm planning to come to Florida, so maybe we will have chance to meet. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's my cousin's wedding, so we are
Okay.
coming to the wedding. I mean, just me and my daughters because the husband is staying here.
Well, Tara
Mhm.
and I live, right by where Steve is here. So maybe we can take you to lunch.
Okay, perfect. I would love to do that. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to let you go to bed because it is midnight.
Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. There is war in my country, so what is midnight?
No,
Nothing.
Oh,
It's not a problem at all.
when you
just love
say
your
that,
outlook.
it's just so puts it into perspective when you say stuff like that.
I
This has
know.
been so good. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being with
Thank
us.
you. All
Have a good
right.
night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Have a good